But Cyan, questions still remain there. If he is no longer a prince, why is he still eighth in line?
Something extraordinary has happened inside the British royal family. Something so symbolic, so unprecedented, that even longtime royal watchers are still trying to fully understand it. Imagine this: a man born into unimaginable privilege, raised with titles stretching back centuries, suddenly watching each of those titles disappear, one after another, until nothing remains but a single civilian name. No duke, no His Royal Highness, no princely style, just Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. And tonight, the royal family has quietly updated the official line of succession to reflect that transformation. But what's more shocking is not simply the change itself, it's the message behind it and the chain of consequences that have been unfolding around Prince Andrew ever since the Epstein scandal forced the monarchy into an unprecedented cleanup. Stay with me, because what happened to Andrew is not just a personal fall from grace. It is a calculated, deliberate redrawing of royal identity, one that many believe signals the firm, unspoken intention of pushing him further and further away from the heart of the monarchy. And it all begins with how the palace has now decided to present him to the world. Before we dive in, there's something I need to share with you. Over the past few days, thousands have watched these stories unfold, but most haven't subscribed. If you're one of them, I invite you now to join us. Subscribe to Crownverse so you never miss the next chapter in this unfolding royal history. Now, let's go deep into what is happening, because the removal of Andrew's titles is more than a headline. It is a tectonic shift in royal positioning. For years, regardless of scandal, Andrew was still officially known as the Duke of York. His place in the line of succession remained unchanged, listed clearly, prominently behind Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet. There was controversy, public backlash, questions about whether he should still appear on the royal website. But structurally, he was still a prince of the United Kingdom, still the Duke of York, still carrying a title that stretched back to the monarchy's deepest traditions. Until suddenly, he wasn't. On October 17th, Buckingham Palace announced that Andrew would no longer be known as the Duke of York. This was confirmed, official, and final. Whatever internal debate existed within the family, whatever private conversations took place between King Charles and his younger brother, the outcome is beyond dispute. Andrew is no longer the Duke of York. His military titles, his public honors, his ceremonial associations, all stripped. But what happened next surprised even seasoned royal commentators. 3 days later, the royal family website removed the title from his profile. And then, at the beginning of November, something even more dramatic occurred. Andrew's profile page didn't just lose its title, it vanished. Clicking on royal.uk/the Duke of York now leads to a message: the requested page could not be found. Not renamed, not archived, gone. As though the institution was attempting to erase an identity that had existed for decades. And if there was any doubt left about how far this distancing would go, the line of succession update made it clearer than ever. Where Andrew once appeared as the Duke of York, he is now listed simply as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, a civilian-style name, one that removes any trace of royal grandeur. To understand the full impact of this, we must explore what the line of succession truly represents. It is not just a list of names. It is the symbolic backbone of the monarchy, a public declaration of who matters in the hierarchy of the crown. For centuries, titles have been inseparable from identity. A Duke of York was not just a title, it was a statement, a message, a role. The transformation of Andrew's entry on that list is more than an administrative update. It is the monarchy rewriting the way it wants the world to see him. His biological position, 8th in the line of the throne, remains unchanged, because succession law does not remove individuals based on scandal. But the palace has chosen to strip away the styling that once surrounded his name. The absence of a title sends a message that is loud, sharp, and unmistakable. Andrew may remain in the bloodline, but he is no longer considered part of the public-facing identity of the crown. This choice carries enormous symbolic weight. In the royal world, appearances are everything, and the disappearance of titles is, in many ways, the disappearance of status. Andrew went from a man with one of the most historic ducal titles in the United Kingdom to a figure barely visible on the official platform of the monarchy. This is the type of shift that doesn't happen by accident. It comes from deliberate decisions taken behind palace walls, decisions shaped by the long shadow of the Epstein scandal and the public pressure that has followed. Now, some claims surrounding internal motivations remain unverified. For instance, rumors suggest that King Charles has been determined to fully separate Andrew's identity from the monarchy, both for reputational protection and for the modernization of the institution. These claims cannot be confirmed, but circulate widely among commentators who believe the pressure on the king to act has been immense. What is confirmed, however, is that each step, title removal, website deletion, and succession update, have happened in recent weeks, forming a chain of events that is impossible to ignore. This chain becomes even striking when we consider the second thread in Andrew's ongoing saga, the potential loss of his residence, the Royal Lodge in Windsor. The Royal Lodge, a sprawling Grade II listed 30-room home, has been Andrew's residence for decades. It has also been the place where Sarah Ferguson, despite her divorce from Andrew, has continued to live. Reports state that both Andrew and Sarah Ferguson will soon have to move out following their associations with Epstein and the royal family's ongoing reshaping of its public image. However, the exact timeline of this move remains unverified. What we do know is that they have been under increasing pressure, both financially and institutionally. Andrew does not perform royal duties. He does not receive public funding. Maintaining a massive residence like the Royal Lodge is costly, and with both Andrew and Sarah reportedly stripped of their York styling, the symbolic link between their residence and their former titles grows thinner every day. For the public, the possibility of Andrew being evicted from the Royal Lodge is dramatic. For the monarchy, it is strategic. A royal residence carries status. It communicates closeness to the crown. And removing Andrew from such a residence would be the final confirmation that his public royal life is truly over. The uncertainty about where Andrew and Sarah will live next only deepens the perception of instability. Their next move, both physically and symbolically, remains unknown. And that uncertainty is becoming part of the larger narrative of Andrew's fall from grace. Another blow to Andrew's identity emerged recently in Northern Ireland. Councillors in Mid and East Antrim have voted to rename a road called Prince Andrew Way in Carrickfergus. The intention is clear: to remove public markers associated with Andrew's royal title. The vote has taken place. However, the final approval process and the exact new name remain unconfirmed. This development is not just administrative. It is deeply symbolic. When streets lose their royal names, it is because the association is no longer one the community wishes to honor. And symbolically, it mirrors what the palace itself has done: remove, rename, and distance. The question now becomes, how far does this distancing go? How much of Andrew's royal identity will remain? If the removal of titles, the website deletion, and the possible eviction from the Royal Lodge form a pattern, then the monarchy has already answered that question. What we are witnessing is the systematic dismantling of Andrew's public existence as a royal. His bloodline remains, his place in the line of succession remains, but every external expression of royal status is being peeled away layer by layer.